first televised war. It was a war that went on far longer than most, and most of all, it was an undeclared war without clear objectives. That was more a military conflict that brought innocent civilians into their fight. And also, it was a war with deep roots to its origins. Millions suffered, more than 50,000 died, and hundreds protested to end the war. For approximately 15 years, the North Vietnam fought against American-supported South Vietnam to stop the spread of communism. I'm sorry, I always have a hard time saying that, communism. The war for the U.S. ended in 1973 with the withdrawal of American combat troops, and 2 years later, South Vietnamese forces surrendered to the North. The Vietnam War first began in 1959, 5 years after the division of the country by the Geneva Accords, signed by France and Vietnam in the summer of 1954. It was a conference that was to work out a peace agreement for the Vietnam's future, and according to the Geneva Accords, Vietnam was temporarily divided at the 17th parallel. Vietnam, a country in Southeast Asia, has been split into two regions, with a communist government in the North Vietnam under Ho Chi Minh and an anti-communist democratic government in South Vietnam under Ngo Dinh Diem. There was supposed to be elections in 1956 for both South and North Vietnam to elect a single leader, but Diem refused to because he knew he would lose to Ho Chi Minh. And in 1959, Ho Chi Minh launched a guerrilla campaign, an organization of armed civilians using military tactics in South Vietnam, and it was led by the Viet Cong with the goal of uniting the country under the communist rule. The United States, seeking to stop the spread of communism throughout Southeast Asia, trained the Army of the Republic of Vietnam and provided military advisors to help combat the guerrillas. U.S. involvement escalated by the 1960s and peaked in 1968 with more than 80,000 communists launched a surprise attack on 100 towns and cities in South Vietnam called the Tet Offense. The Tet Offensive was a series of massive coordinated attacks throughout South Vietnam by the forces of the Viet Cong that happened during a period when no attacks were to take place due to the Tet Lunar New Year celebrations. During his 1968 campaign, President Richard Nixon pledged to end the war in Vietnam. Due to the Viet Cong's Tet Offensive, the Richard Nixon administration started a policy labeled Vietnamization. I'm sorry, guys. Vietnamization was a slow process strategy that consisted of turning over more of the fighting in Vietnam to the South Vietnamese while gradually bringing U.S. troops home. He began to slowly pull troops out in the hopes that it would give South Vietnamese leaders time to create a stable, non-communist government. The Vietnam War had a major impact on everyday life in America. Since there were not enough volunteers to continue to fight a long, drawn-out war, the government instituted the draft. My neighbor, Vincent Tizena Bogoric, grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and was 9 years old when he first had knowledge of the war starting, and 18 years old when the war ended, right at the age young men were usually getting drafted. Cleveland, Ohio was and still is a large city with a lot of diverse Americans that strongly disagreed and protested the war. Vincent grew up with a generation of people that from the age of 10 to their 20s witnessed everything that happened in Vietnam, from their living rooms on the nightly news and up to the moment updates on the radio. Vietnam will always be remembered as the first televised war. In 2005, journalism history article by Andrew Hoover titled "Rethinking American Press Coverage of the Vietnam War." Each of the three main networks had correspondents in Vietnam by 1965. CBS and NBC lengthened their nightly news programs from 15 to 30 minutes in 1963, and ABC did so in 1967, allowing more and more time for coverage of the Vietnam. Also in journalism history article, while Censorship of press coverage had prevailed during World War II and the Korean War. By 1954, no official control of the media occurred at any point during the Vietnam War. So everything was on TV every night. Vincent remembers almost every major event that took place, but the shooting at Kent University in Ohio of 4 unarmed college students protesting had been shot by a National Guard, and the police riots at the 1968 Democratic National Convention in Chicago are two headlines that hit close to home for him. Both were very controversial and sad events that were near his home in Cleveland, Ohio. In a 2003 World News Digest article, Peace with Honor in Vietnam, states, on January 23, 1973, President Richard Nixon's special advisor, Henry Kissinger, and North Vietnam's chief negotiator, Lee Du Tho, agreed on a historic and controversial ceasefire accord aimed at ending the war in Vietnam. Nixon announced the agreement in a televised address that night. Also in the World News Digest article, the author summed Vietnam's war's legacy and said, the legacy of the Vietnam War was nothing less than tragic. Nearly 2 million Vietnamese lost their lives, while America's losses were 58,193 killed and about 153,303 wounded, and many more MIA, and then more men that had gone, but they survived and didn't get hurt. The capture of Saigon, I don't really know how to pronounce that capital, but the capture of Saigon by the Vietnam People's Army in April 1975 marked the end of the war, and the reunified North and South Vietnam as one nation under North Vietnamese rule. The Vietnam War will forever be a lasting imprint in our American history, with many lessons learned for the American people and for any potential wars for the future.